Hello again, YouTube. This is the truth, man. Giving you the truth. And I want to continue on this BDE, this DICK energy stuff. But I want to add some other stuff that goes along with the subject matter, including this Kevin Samuels passing. Like, there's women on here that think the manosphere basically died when Kevin Samuels passed away. And it didn't. Some of the fakes backed off. They backed off. Some of these dudes, let's be honest, they'll talk that stuff until one of these women put it on them. They'll talk that stuff until those ain't the real guys. Those are the Matrix guys. They not no Matrix men. No Matrix men, they know how to decipher between things, like whether it's women, whether it's truth, regardless of what it is. If a guy is not in the Matrix, he gonna know how to decipher. And it ain't gonna matter, women, they throw out terms like big DICK energy, like somebody being ugly, somebody being broke. But a real alpha man, he could be all three of those things and he's still gonna stand on his square. Or none of those things. He's still gonna stand on his square. Because that's just the way it is. Like you can't knock a real man off his square with your insults. A real man, you have to prove your talking point. And I'm not Kevin Samuels in the sense that I'll bring that smoke back. Like I'm not gonna waste all my time because there's other things to do with smoke. But I'll bring a lot of that smoke back. The fact of the matter is this, that people trying to get away from what marriage is. They got all these sideshow stuff that's straight from the pits of hell in regards to marriage. Like they trying to change what it is and what it always has been because they don't want to conform to it in their own evil ways. And then you got these fake pastors just basically pedestalizing these women instead of saying, look, this is how you're supposed to be. And it shows because they hide and they get caught up pretending and promoting monogamy while attempting to secretly be polygynous. That's not the way to go. If you're going to be monogamous, be monogamous. You're going to be polygynous, be polygynous. But neither one you can say is like the evil, like an evil choice. If you only want one woman, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with you sticking to one woman. If something is wrong with her, then you just stupid. But it ain't nothing wrong with you sticking to one woman in and of itself. But me personally, from an intelligent perspective, why would you stick to one woman if that one woman ain't sticking to you? I'm just saying. What you're supposed to do based on my research, my observations, is you're supposed to get rid of her and live your life. Or if that's what you want, because it's your life, you have a free will. If you want one woman, why would you stick to a bad? Keep looking for that one that is going to be good for you. But they had this thing now, and this is part 2. Big DICK energy. What it basically is a bunch of women who think that a guy has a small wing ding because of the things he says. That's just cop-out speech. That's like the Democrats. How they laugh off when they lose in debates. That's like the equivalent of a Democratic person being destroyed in debate and just trying to laugh. Biden was doing it. Obama was doing it. Bill Clinton was doing it. That's something that they do. That's in their plans. They laugh it off because laughing it off makes it look like that they know what they're talking about and that they are the real deal. And then they get in there and we see that they're not. Trump wasn't perfect, but at least we saw Trump doing a lot of the things that he said he was going to do. See, we saw it. We saw it. And I didn't agree with everything Trump said or did, but I agreed with him enough to know that he was better than Obama, that he's better than Biden, so on and so forth. This is the same thing that these women are trying to do. Listen, there are guys that don't care about body count that I know my wing ding is bigger than theirs. I'm just being honest about it, and I ain't trying to be nasty. But if you expect me to be one of those prophets that only talking about Jonah and the Bible stories, you got the wrong man. Because the Most High gives me all types of things to talk about and gives me the freedom to say it the way I want to say it, as long as I'm telling the truth about it. And the truth is that women, modern day women, do not want to be traditional wives, but they want what comes with being a traditional wife. They want the glistening ring for other people to see. They want the last name for other people to hear. They want to say that they're such and such as wife. But let's look at some of the people that talk about this BDE. Superhead, treating her husband like trash. Gone for days. Gone for days with Bow Wow and Lil Wayne and others. These are the people that's talking about this stuff. Now, does that mean that, and she talking that stuff, I guarantee you it's dudes out here that'll put moves on her that some of them might not even be endowed like whatever. I don't know what Lil Wayne or Bow Wow got. I don't care. It's some dudes that got less, and some dudes that got more that'll put them moves on her. See, people get into this thing where they try to, when it's something they don't agree with, they try to hurl out insults because they don't know how to prove them talking points to be the truth, to be the way, to be the more accurate way, the better way. So they get into these things where they hurl these insults. And guys is backing off in the manosphere because they not even real. These dudes are monetized. They like fake preachers. They like the prosperity gospel preachers. A lot of them, when it was all said and done, we found out that they were fake, that they weren't even real, that they were just using that to gain wealth. Well, it's the same thing on YouTube. A lot of these dudes ain't even real. They just doing it because they know how to entertain. They like comedians. Like a comedian is entertaining and make you laugh. I love comedy. Like I like watching comedy. I think Cat Williams is hilarious and smart. I think Mike Epps is hilarious. Eddie Griffin, hilarious. Like DC, what's his name? DC is kind of funny. A lot of these dudes. Corey Holcomb is hilarious. Patrice O'Neal was hilarious. And by the way, if you want to coin somebody as being the godfather of this kind of talk, I would say it's Patrice O'Neal, not Kevin Samuels. Patrice O'Neal, people be secretly watching this video because I be hearing stuff that Patrice O'Neal said 10 years ago that some of these guys that's writing books and monetized on YouTube practically quoted them word for word. I'm like, man, they got that from Patrice O'Neal. But it's cool though. It's cool though. Like, I like a lot of the content in this space. I do. But I think guys is backing off, some of them. They backing off. They done made their money. Now they backing off because they not real. And you gonna hear about some of these dudes being married, and some of these dudes are gonna be literally getting punked by their wife. Because they Matrix guys. You could be in a Matrix and have a gift of gab and make it seem like you like this informed guy, you not a Matrix guy. But you know, that's cop-out speech. It's cop-out speech. And I told stories, man. Let me give you another. I'm trying to think of stories that's not too vulgar, too nasty. So, if you ever been to a black college, a historically black college university like I have, then you know what type of stuff to this day probably still goes on campus. Like, Jackson State was a whole lot of fun in a lot of ways. We had movie nights. We could go to the games for free. You know, we used to play spades. It was good food. It was fun times. But there was a lot of dark stuff going on at Jackson State. And you had okay, at night when I was there, it was the girls' dorm was one of the girls' dorm. I forgot the name of the other girls' dorm, where the upper class women were at. But back then, the lower class women stayed in a dorm called Alexandria East. And if any of you went to Jackson State, you know what I'm talking about. Alexandria East had a path in the front that led to what we call the plaza, which is where a lot of the game was getting put down on women, so on and so forth. But it had like all these paths, all these doors connected to it. One of the doors connected to Alexander East. I was watching this kid look like they just was gonna come right out in the street. Led to the street. So on one side of Alexandria East, back then when I was there, between 93 and 95, it led to a street where there was a restaurant, there was a store. The restaurant didn't look the best on the outside, but had the best burgers and deep fried chicken sandwiches that you will ever ask for in life. I'm gonna tell you. And that restaurant is still open. But I used to literally, because I used to stay outside late, and I used to see women sneaking out. Some of them was pretending to like be these good girls, but most of them was what we call campus freaks. The campus freaks and the girls that had boyfriends, those were the only two categories of women that you would see out like past a certain time really on campus. Campus kind of died down when it started getting later, like 9, 10, 11 o'clock. One thing that I noticed back then, and I'll be honest that I did things with campus freaks at times. I'll be honest about it. I'm just being honest. I'm proving my point. For those of you little fake kooky Christians that don't know how to mix real life and today's life, don't listen to me. Don't watch my video. But I noticed that most of the campus freaks, they didn't have like steady boyfriends. Like they just didn't. Like back then, they just didn't. Like you would see them with a dude and they'll be saying this was their boyfriend, and then they ain't with him no more. They with this one, they ain't with that one. But from a physical standpoint, let me say this. From a physical standpoint, some of those women that were passing it out, I'm gonna say this, and let me think of it. I'm gonna be pausing because I gotta think of ways to say it. They were not like, okay, they had all different shapes and sizes, but they were into whoever they were into. That's just how it was. Like they enjoyed themselves with those who they chose to enjoy themselves with. I mean, that's just the way it was. Like I don't know what it exactly from a physical standpoint. I can't explain it completely, but those women, it wasn't really a such thing as that, because I had a friend there was, a friend of a friend. And she told a story we all thought it was just hilarious about a guy that she said was endowed but couldn't even go longer than 3 seconds. She said no matter what, 3 seconds, he just was Rockets Blair. You know what I mean? And she said he was so endowed, but he couldn't go longer than 3 seconds. She said, do you think something was wrong with him? I was too busy laughing. I said, hey, I don't know. I don't know. The way she was telling the story and the way she was looking, I said, I don't know. But I was too busy laughing at that fact that he basically, she said he had it like more than a lot of the other dudes she dealt with. She said, though, she said, I don't even like him for that reason. She said, I don't like him no more. She said, I can't look at him the same. And it reminds me of today. That's how I know these women is full of crap. From the stuff that I knew about going to Jackson State, that I knew about being in Milwaukee in the 90s, that stuff rarely ever comes into play in regards of guys talking about this. So you basically saying that Eazy-E had LDE? You saying that DJ Quick had LDE? That Too Short had LDE? Dr. Dre, Bees Ain't S but Hoes Tricks, had LDE? And Dr. Dre, let's be honest, Dr. Dre had verses where he was bragging about his endowment. But according to Superhead, according to these women, these rappers and stuff like that, I heard her messing up beats. I forgot what song it was. I think it's Genius of Love. Messing up the beat, talking about you got BDE or whatever. So according to these women, Tupac had LDE. Spice One has LDE. Too Short has LDE. E40, Captain Save 304. Be legit. You basically saying that all of these guys, I'm gonna keep naming, have LDE? You saying that porn stars have LDE? You saying that anybody that talks about how slutty women are, it has LDE? That's cop-out speech. That's cop-out speech. So all of these guys, including, well, the only people that don't talk about it is a lot of the new rappers. They don't really talk about it. Like, they act like it doesn't matter. Because look at the generation they coming up in, where people don't view it the same. Like sex isn't sacred. It's not like a connection type of thing. They don't, you know. So all of these guys, according to these women, have LDE. When there's women out there that told stories that bragged about that to this day. So Allen Iverson has LDE. We've heard stories of late about him. But I've heard things that he said about women. Come on now. So let me get this straight. Anybody that don't like the groupies and all them, they got small wingding. Come on now. Come on now. Let's reason as adults. You know that's not true. You know that's not true. So what about the endowed guys that their wives cheated on them with dudes with small wingdings and they still divorced them? That happens all the time. The point I'm making is this. That is cop-out speech, because these women cannot win this argument about marriage and about how it don't make sense for a guy no more. Really never did. But it's like now they will really, and a woman was just in my comments telling me checkmate and all this, all that, and saying that black guys done lost this, just all in my comments. And I told her just like this. I said, y'all women, y'all got the government. But men, we have the Most High. Y'all got the government, but we got the Most High. I'm gonna keep bringing this heat on this subject. Cause let's be honest here. Let's go here. Just because a woman has a loose VJ, don't mean that a guy can't put that, put it on. Let's just be honest. See, y'all think this is about that. It's not about that. It's not. It's about the mindset. It's about the commitment. Why should somebody commit to you and 9 times out of 10 you're going to be messed up in the head? Why should they commit their money to you? Why should they commit their time to you? Why should they pay a mortgage or pay for a house only to have a 304 and they come home at an unopportune time and find her getting knocked back by somebody else? And then when you fall out with her, she can still take you to court, get alimony and child support. That's what caused the manosphere to rise. The alimony, the child support, it ain't nothing on my lips, but it sure look like it. It's shiny. That's what caused the manosphere to rise. Alimony, child support, the mental breakdowns of committing yourself to somebody and wasting your years. Guys done gave up their career. Guys done gave up their career for their women. So on and so forth. And now they have a space where they can rise back up again after being broke off with alimony and child support. Listen, Dr. Dre is a billionaire, but don't think that money he lost to his wife, don't think that didn't hurt. That's why he was getting sick. Don't think that Robert De Niro, the money that he lost, didn't hurt. It don't matter how rich you are. Don't think that it's not going to sting Will Smith. Shaq, and Shaq, what I think was hurting Shaq is Shaq acting like he had a unicorn. He can't keep his hands off. He can't do that now because she's married. He couldn't keep his hands off his ex-wife. But even her actions, she knew what he was doing. She waited to the opportune time to divorce him. All of that stuff is the reason why the manosphere is born. And on that, I'm going to close this video and I'm going to bring more. This is serious now, y'all. This is serious because I'm hearing too much about this and I know I can debunk that foolishness. Listen, some guys got it, some guys don't. Some guys got it, some guys don't. Some women think it's about size until they run into that dude with their moves. It's not even about that, man. It's about time and whether or not you're wasting it because this person is messed up mentally, physically. And what's the chances of a woman with 100 bodies not having an incurable STD? Who want that stuff? I don't even like itching. Yet alone all the other stuff that comes with dealing with somebody that has something. But I'm going to close. we'll be back tomorrow with part 3 of is it a myth? Is it true? Guys got LDE who put women in their place, who know how to vet women, who know how to deal with women, who don't take anything off women, who care who she been with? I think not. I think not. It's guys that's talented with what they got. That's gonna make you get yours. And they ain't always, and listen, like I said, there's dudes out there, all they had was 304s. So they don't know the difference in quality. Mindset, this, that, they don't know. They simps, they in the matrix. They don't know what to look for. And I'll tell you something else. On the other side, tomorrow, we're going to talk about how low body count don't always matter either. Thanks for watching.